Blessed ones, greetings to you, we are with you. It is very important to understand that this is a time whereby your understandings of the mechanics of action and creation are fundamentally changing. It's important for you to know that the frustration that you feel, coupled with a sensed acceleration in your timeline movement, is creating an experience whereby it may seem as if you are still creating the same amount of effort and yet seeing a lesser amount of effect. We want to be very clear that there is a fundamental change that is occurring in how creation, in terms of cause and effect and action, is actually unfolding in your reality. Whereby you have previously understood that a particular amount of effort is required in order for change or movement to occur, you will understand that there is a completely different sense of mechanism for change that is being realized at this time. Whereby humans have become very adept at increasing their field or their charge of energy, creating surplus requirements of energy, and then transferring this energy into an object, project, person, perceived goal, perceived idealized reality in order to create a transference of energy and create movement and action. Many of you are understanding that this is not unfolding in the way that it should, or in the way that you are indeed used to it unfolding. You have learned through your very basic principles of science that one object can influence or move another, create change, create movement, create friction through a generation of excess energy and then a transference of that energy from one thing to another. Also within your own personal development and spiritual development, you may wish to call it as such, you have learned that if you raise your frequency or raise your vibration, that you can create certain change and have certain influence through transferring this energy in some way. If I have enthusiasm, if I have focus, if I put in enough effort, if I put in enough time, I surely can move this along. And yet, the very emancipation of humanity from this very crude principle of movement, change, and creation is what humanity has longed for. Thereby, there is a period of adjustment where humanity begins to understand that movement and sustainable movement and efficient movement can no longer be ignited from an excess of force, an excess of energy, and the transference of energy. Much of the principles of structure, governance, and systemization on your planet is based upon this transference of energy. And as such, humans have learned that not only do they have to collect energy, they also need to store excess energy in case they need it. And then when they do choose to apply it, there is often a sense of depletion afterwards, where you need to recharge energy. Or that indeed this is a sacrifice. I will put my energy here and not here, because otherwise I have to keep recharging, or I need excess stores of energy if I want anything to change, or if I want to apply myself in more than one particular way, in more than one particular direction, with more than one particular person, or indeed with more than one particular project. In many ways, this has limited the human capacity to create change in multi-directional ways. And indeed, it has inhibited the efficiency for the human to influence their environment. This notion and principle of transference of energy is what has been, in many ways, limiting humanity from stepping into the creatorship role that they have within the galaxy. We say unto you that this period of adjustment within which humans are experiencing at this time is a time to begin to relax deeply into the knowing that this type of energy transference and force motion effect is no longer viable for your planet and no longer viable for the systems that seek to sustain it. The flooding of consciousness and the vibrational frequency of the planet and its humanity at this time can no longer be sustained by such crude systems. And indeed, the mass influence and the mass influx of consciousness within your earth reality at this time is stretching these systems to such an extent that they can no longer contain the energy of the human attention and presence. Hear our words. These systems designed for the storing and transference of energy of the human can no longer contain the consciousness of the collective humanity on the planet. Thereby, the systems and structures are straining. Thereby, there is an experience for humanity at this time often felt as if it doesn't matter how much energy you expend, it's not making any difference. It doesn't matter how much you try, nothing's really moving. It doesn't matter what you do, it's not creating the change that you want. Wonderful. Because this storing and transference of energy for effect is no longer viable on your planet. Indeed, this is a time where humanity is moving into a new way, perhaps the old way, perhaps the original way, perhaps the cosmic way, whereby it is a principle of agreement and resonance, whereby instead of one source of energy transferring energy to another, whether it be through a perceived desire for change or a perceived experience of lack, perhaps you see something lacking and you wish to add to it. Perhaps you see something in excess and you wish to draw from it. None of this is viable moving forward into the earth existence. It is now blending back into the harmonic understanding of cosmic resonance, whereby the principle of agreement is what ultimately creates. An example here is a candle that is burning. The candle is a flame. And there is a candle next to it. And it has its wick, it has its form, but it has no flame. Now, under the old premise, the candle with the flame that is burning brightly would understand that it has energy. Perhaps it would perceive that it has excess energy. And therefore, it could contribute that energy elsewhere, perhaps to the other candle, the one without light, so that that candle may have light too. And so, the original candle either leans towards the unlit candle, or it allows the unlit candle to lean towards it. Either way, the original candle that is a flame will melt far more quickly. When it has the other candle leaning into it, so bright is the flame that is burnt, but the wax melts more quickly. And once the candles are righted into their vertical position again, you will see that the original flame, the candle is now beginning to decrease in size. It has expended energy. It has burned so brightly so that another candle may have its flame. We say unto you that this is the same in all manner of creations within your human realm as you have understood it. It is how those who give birth sacrifice energy. It is how the elders who give so much knowledge eventually become weak and frail. It is also how you accumulate energy and then give it away. It is also how you try to support each other. It is also how you join in relationships. Ultimately, this transference of energy always requires a sacrifice. Isn't it so? And yet we say unto you that there is another way. There is a way now whereby the candle that is a light becomes so aware of its own existence, so completely in agreement of its form, its perfection, that it inspires the candle next to it to also move into being a flame. The original candle and the flame is so much in agreement in its own existence, complete and of itself, that suddenly it experiences more of itself. It experiences more of itself because now here is another one. Lo, look, here is another flame that is a light. And between the two candles, neither of them are sacrificing their flame or their form. Neither of them are having to move position. It is actually the pure resonance, the pure knowledge of existence with one that ignites an experience now of another one. And together, they experience amplification of themselves. Amplification. So we draw your attention towards this word, amplification, rather than sacrifice. Agreement, rather than transference. Because this is the way for humanity to create. Your scientists already understand this. They understand this with their term they use, quantum. Quantum movement, quantum agreement, quantum resonance. It is exactly the same for how you create. So during this time where it seems as if any action has no effect, that doesn't matter how much energy you expend, there's no movement or change. Use this period now to practice being in complete agreement with yourself. I exist. And then watch how other aspects of agreement with you begin to show up in your reality without you having to expend any energy, without you having to have any sacrifice, without you having to have any perceived sense of drive or action or indeed motivation. This is your time to play with this. It's an incredibly powerful practice. Move so deeply into an awareness of the existence of yourself, so deeply into agreement with your own existence, that you begin to see what you couldn't see before. Now there is an amplification of yourself. You feel more of yourself. You feel more of who you are. You feel more of what is available to you. And lo, here is the agreement. And it begins to appear in your external reality. This is the true power of the human creator. This is the true seeding of your planet. It is a seeding of your true existence, where you need no sacrifice anything of yourself. You need no give away your energy to create movement and change. You need not choose, I must focus here and not here. I must only do this and not that. Those times have come to an end, blessed ones. But your light and your flame is only just beginning. May the knowing of your true essence be felt with every breath. Peace be with you.